Research tells us that really by the age of 15, people who will eventually be diagnosed with a serious mental illness can sense that there is something different about them and they're having challenges. So I was one of those kids, but certainly didn't ever want to discuss it with anyone, didn't want to talk about it with my parents. Research also tells us that trauma can ignite, kind of like the match that lights the fire, to really the onset of some really serious issues. And for me, when I was 16, I was a rape survivor. And again, another issue that's very shameful, that you don't talk to people, you don't seek help, and it's extremely painful. And by the time I had gotten to college, I had buried a lot of different severe challenges in my life. And everyone thought that I was a perfect straight-A student, that I didn't have any problems. And I got to college and I just crashed. And had several different diagnoses, had several different suicide attempts, and it was very embarrassing to not be the person who I thought I had the identity of at an age in which you're creating your identity. And I think for me, I decided that I was going to become the label that I had been given. You know, at some point it was depression, I had an eating disorder, then it was also bipolar disorder, and I really kind of just gave up. And at the time, you know, there weren't a lot of services. I had exhausted my parents' insurance, I had exhausted friendships and relationships. I had a few friends that were still in there, that were supporting me, but I personally had given up on myself, and I had personally given up on my dreams. And part of it was the system itself telling me. It was telling me, you know, you have this severe diagnosis. You probably are not going to be successful in school. You're probably not going to be able to attain the things that you thought you were going to attain. And you need to focus all of your energy on going to services, focusing on your mental health. And I think for an important point in time, that is a really critical place to be and to do those things. But at the same time, there wasn't any hope. There wasn't any belief that you could get better, that you could live your full life, that I could go back to college and graduate. And until I had a good doctor, and until my own family interacted with some professionals that did believe that you could recover and lead a full life, I really had given up. And I think for me, you know, I always wanted to be like a constitutional lawyer or work in policy and advocacy, so it's not too far of a stretch of what I do now. But you know, I like to solve problems, and I feel blessed that I've gotten to spend the last 10, 12 years of my life working on the policy issues so that we make sure that other kids don't have to face that. We have a real opportunity to provide accurate information that really changes their attitudes, that is sustained over time. And as I, you know, personally, and I think we hear at the table, there's a lot of kids that age that if they knew the signs, if they understood what it meant or where to go, who to talk to, go to a school counselor, what do you do if you have a friend that's hurting? And I think for me, it would have been so helpful if it wouldn't have been a fearful thing for a friend to say, I know something's going on with you. And you wouldn't have to put the extra energy as someone who's experiencing a lot of stress into hiding that you would have to, you would again be able to actually go to your friends and say, I have this going on, what do you think I should do about it? Because sometimes it's just way too scary to go to your parents.